Hey guys, hi from Hanoi, Vietnam. Today we're going to have a look around a really cool part of Hanoi. One of the nicest areas actually, from the Temple of Literature around about there, going through a very old French colonial part of Hanoi that's very exclusive, and over towards the one Villa Pagoda and the Ho Chi Minh Museum, Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum area. Come on, let's check it out. This is going to be a really great walk, so let's get into it. So I'm actually on a little island in the middle of this little lake here, in this very small park, with this cool kind of pagoda with these old Vietnamese guys chattering away there. It's a lovely little spot, and it's right across the road from the Temple of Literature, which is one of the highlights of any trip to Hanoi. It's a really gorgeous old temple. Alright, so a lot of people just roll on up to the Temple of Literature and they don't notice there's this cute little park just across the road, but it's a good spot to get yourself sorted out before you head into the temple. But there's lots of good cafes also around the temple, so it's always great to grab something to drink as well. But yeah, just to get your head together a little bit, it's good to come over here. So let's head across the road. Okay. Here we are. So this is the main entrance. There's a ticket office over there. So they say Vietnam citizens pay the same price. Might be a couple exceptions for older people, I'm not sure, but this is the way in. And in we go to the Temple of Literature. So that's the entrance there, and yeah, interesting, beautiful place, very contemplative, as befits the name. There's a nice little park on the other side of the boundary wall over there as well, which is a good spot to unwind before or after coming in here. And plenty of cafes, like all around just outside the walls here. So yeah, 2004 is the first time I came in here. 2004, I don't remember that they charged an admission fee then. I mean, they might have, but yeah. Anyway, it just seems a bit more organized now. But I'm not really into paying to go into temples or churches or cathedrals or whatever. First time I encountered that kind of thing was probably back in about, let's see, did I say I came here in 2003? That's not right. 2012 was the first time I came here, actually. Yeah, I'm mixing it up in my mind there, because I wanted to mention that the first time that I went to a kind of spiritual place where they charged an entrance fee was in 2003 or 2004. That was at Roskilde in Denmark, where they have the famous music festival, but there's also a famous cathedral there, and I was quite shocked. You know, I'd never come across such a thing before, to try to charge money. The second time I came here, I won't say too much about, but someone I met said they climbed over the wall somewhere in a quiet corner around here. But yeah, not saying it was me, someone I met, right? Yeah. But Yeah, because I'm just not, like I said, just not keen on that kind of thing. Paying for going into spiritual places seems to be the kind of opposite of what they're intended for. But whatever, you know, if you don't mind, and of course we hope the money goes to the upkeep, but if you actually think about it, how are these places funded around the world? How did the money get gathered together for these places to be built? Well, of course, it's from the sweat and blood and tears, the labor of the people of the place, going back over the years, back to the old times. So, and in some places, they only charge foreigners to come into these kinds of spiritual places. Well, a good thing is it's not most of these places that charge. Yeah, so actually most spiritual places I've seen around the world don't charge money to enter them, which is as it should be. Yeah, I know, of course, some people are going to say, well, they have to fund the upkeep somehow. But I think there are plenty of things that money is spent on by the people who run things that could be put to better use, let's say. So this would be like top of the bill, as far as I'm concerned. Put money into heritage. So there's a little shrine where all these people are jabbering here in a very spiritual kind of contemplative way. And just behind that, you see there's another building that has a similar shrine, which I will not go close to because I don't want to spoil the lovely contemplative atmosphere that they've got going there. So you can see actually there's a wall in between, but it's actually, there are two buildings really. So yeah, hopefully people who actually come here to get into this spiritual frame of mind, like I actually do, and even now a little bit, yeah, but yeah, that's what it should be about, trying to kind of create a spiritual awakening, right? So that's how the energy should be with these kinds of things. If we want to have these places be the way that they should be. There's an exit over there that goes into the nice little park I mentioned earlier. Yeah, so this is a lovely place, really contemplative. But okay, the admission fee is not much, but like I said, it's just not my way of doing things. If it were up to me, you know what I mean? I'd be focused more on trying to have these kinds of places serve the purpose that they were intended for, you know? And ring the bells, ring the bells. Wake everybody up. This is pretty much the highlight. So ring the bell and bang the drum. Yeah, okay. So you can see most people are here for a photo opportunity more than getting into the spiritual vibe, but you can do both. Why not? It's cool. It's all right. I think it's good to keep a bit of a relaxed atmosphere. Make it enjoyable. The Temple of Literature. So I love reading, you know. I always study up on places before I go to them. I actually forgot to do revision on this place though. That's funny. Ironic somehow. So I didn't come over the wall this time. My third time coming in here. Didn't go over the wall, I promise you. I did something that's more like the name of a Led Zeppelin album. Okay, back out on the street. Yeah, so what was that Led Zeppelin album? In Through the Back Door? No, but you could imagine they might have named an album something like that, but no, something like that, wasn't it? In Through the Outdoor. That's what it was. Yeah, I just came out the outdoor, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, so In Through the Outdoor. It's like an old trick I learned on Grateful Dead tour long time ago. Something like that. Something about making yourself invisible when you go into places like concerts and stuff like that. Yeah, so there are ways to do these things instead of having to stand around or walk around looking for supervisors who don't speak much English to try to explain to them that you're trying to promote their country and you'd love to get in because you've already been in a few times and you've already paid a few times and you're only here to try to promote their country. Right, let's get across here. Not the easiest one to cross, by the way. So, lots of places for refreshments around here, indoor and outdoor, whatever tickles your fancy. And over here, we've got the very lovely Museum of Fine Arts, Hanoi's Museum of Fine Arts. Definitely recommend it. Saigon has one as well, and I definitely recommend that one. Some good stuff in there, for real. Some definitely good stuff, especially, you know, like what I really like, especially what I really like is some of the art that's painted on the theme of the different conflicts that Vietnam had for independence in the last century. So some definitely thought-provoking pieces in there. I'm definitely talking about some good quality. So yeah, and it's a cheap place. That's the thing, you know. I actually love to support this country. You know, they're still, if you think about it, they're still trying to get back up to where they could have been if they hadn't have had a terrible war. So that's the Temple of Literature there. We'll say goodbye to that for now. Just along this side, it's a bit narrow here, but it kind of angles out. There's another nice little park behind that hedge there, which is a good little spot to get your head together as well. But yeah, like I was saying, if you think about it, Vietnam's still trying to get to where they would have been if they hadn't had the terrible conflicts that they basically had to endure to get through to be independent, to be able to have self-determination. So, you know, I always have that in mind for this country in particular. So I'm always happy to spend money, but I don't want to spend 2 times or 3 times on things I've already paid for if I'm coming here, you know, to basically plan or film. Okay, so here's an old French hospital over here. So if you break a leg or break your head or whatever, there's an option for getting fixed up. But I was a bit curious about the hospital actually. I did a bit of checking online. The only information I could find in English was reading reviews from Google Maps. And if you ever need to use a hospital in a foreign land, if you have an unexpected accident when you're traveling, definitely make sure you check reviews. Definitely check reviews, for sure. Could save your life, you know? And I don't want to comment too much on what the reviews had to say, but there were a few eye-opening ones. Anyway, you might have noticed the architecture is changing now. It's definitely moving up in quality as far as high society style. These lovely French villas. If you go down this road, there are more of them. Same down here. And we're gonna swing along here, along the side of the hospital there. It runs along this block, but there's some nice architecture along here. So I think, yeah, it's pretty obvious. You can see this is a really prime French colonial district right here. And most travelers overlook this area. It's a bit different from the other part of the French colonial area, which you might have seen in my video on the French Colonial Quarter of Hanoi a number of weeks back. But yeah, it's kind of connected by a thin ribbon of colonial architecture with the area around the Hoan Kiem Lake, where you find important administration type buildings like the post office and the main police station, and some old hotels and other kinds of things that you need to run a city, the opera house as well, cultural places, stuff like that. But this side of the French colonial area is like a second area, really. It's barely connected to the main one, which is the other areas, the kind of day-to-day life type area for people that live in Hanoi. But this part, it's more of a kind of a governing kind of area for the entire country from the French colonial time, not just for the city. So, what does that actually mean? In effect, it means there are a lot of ministry type buildings that in the French colonial time would have been organizing different aspects of the way the country was run then. And there are a bunch of embassies and consulates over here as well. And if you saw one of my other videos shot in Hanoi, it was about walking from Hoan Kiem Lake to I think it's called Bay Mao Lake. And sorry. In that video, we passed an area I called, well, I said it's like a kind of an embassy row. And I mentioned in that video, there's actually a second area that's like an embassy row, and that's over here. So you find most of the consulates and embassies of different countries are in those areas, those two areas, the one over that way and the one over this way. So you've got like convention centers as well, of course, and all these kind of departments that you need to run a country sprinkled around, and the consulates and the embassies are still over here as well. So it hasn't changed that much, but a lot of the mansions that you see along here, a lot of these villas would have housed important French people in the past mostly, and of course some of the highest level Vietnamese who worked in the French colonial administration. And this would have been probably the most secure part of the city, I would imagine. But This area connects the Temple of Literature with Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum, which is just up the road a little bit, not much further. And the area around Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum is basically part of what was the extended palace grounds back in the old days when they had an emperor in Hanoi. And so when the French came in, took over everything, they plonked their plonk and all their other accessories down in the area that had governed the city, and made it the center of power, put the new center of power on top of the old center of power. And of course that's what Ho Chi Minh did as well. So just ahead of us there is the big square where Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum is. Let's see if we can get across here without... Okay, we got the green light, but no one cares. Welcome to Southeast Asia. Haha. There's a cool building here on the corner. So this is actually the main entrance to Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum. First, as you go in on the left, you've got the Ho Chi Minh Museum, then the One Pillar Pagoda, then Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum, and then past that on the left, there's the house where Ho Chi Minh lived after the war. And then if you go out the other side and go further down, there's another interesting part of the city which we might talk about in an upcoming video. Here's some rules and regulations. So fairly standard, maintaining public order, cultured and proper behavior. Sounds fair enough, right? Got visiting time. Probably cannot trust that with the visiting time. If you look online, there's different times mentioned, but I've heard from different people who came at the times stated and found that it wasn't open. But okay, you have to try your luck a bit. Maintain public order and clean environment. Dress appropriately. Do not wear short skirts. Do not wear night clothes. So any Viet Cong veterans, no black pajamas. Sorry guys. No sleeveless, whatever, and revealing shirts. And follow the rules basically. And do not carry weapons, explosives, supportive tools, radioactive stuff, all this kind of stuff which affect security and order. So if they don't affect security and order, I guess that's like a loophole, right? You could try to explain that on the way to the gulag, that you thought your devices were not threatening towards public order or something like that. I don't know. We're just looking forward to the Firecracker Festival or something. I don't know. There it is, the wonderful mausoleum of Ho Chi Minh, which you might have seen at the end of one of my previous videos, but this is the main entrance. So we're gonna walk down this street. See, it says Pho Li Hong Phong, and this is the street I recommend if you're staying in the old town, which most visitors would be doing, staying in the old town. Hello. So this would be the way to come from the old town. Come along this street, and look, what's that? That's not Ho Chi Minh, actually. Similar picture, right? Also looks a bit like Colonel Sanders, but it's not Colonel Sanders, so it's not Uncle Ho, and it's not Colonel Sanders. Who is it? It might be Uncle Pho. Maybe it's Uncle Pho. He's got a kind of Stalin mustache, so it's kind of a hybridized kind of thing there, isn't it? A character or something, like a composite character maybe, or maybe it's a real guy, I don't know. Like, so if you need a bowl of noodles when you're going in or out to keep your strength up, just go and see Uncle Pho. All right, so International Convention Center here. Some nice communist propaganda. See this one as well, lovely bit of propaganda there. Propaganda, you know, propaganda is, in the modern time we think of propaganda like it's a bad thing. Yeah. There are a few consulates along here. There's Oh, I think there's the Consulate of Slovakia, and I think I saw the Consulate of Dominican Republic. It always makes you wonder when you see embassies and consulates and ambassadors' houses that look like they cost a bundle in the most expensive parts of cities, in the strangest parts of the world, where you think, how does that country have much business or serious stuff going on with this country? Like Dominican Republic and Vietnam, like what's the connection, right? So, and like why does Dominican Republic need a really beautiful, like super expensive French villa in the most expensive part of Hanoi that's the equal of what other countries that are much bigger and have a lot bigger budget, you know, like it's the equal of all these other countries that obviously do have some business going on over here. Yeah, like why do they need that? I don't know. Who knows, right? But who gets those kind of jobs, those ambassador jobs, those embassy jobs? Who normally gets those kind of jobs? Well, it's usually friends of whoever. Hello, hello. I'm here, I think, I hope. Kind of here, half here. Trying to be aware and not get run down here as everybody ignores the obviously green pedestrian light. All right, so here's the Consulate of Ukraine. We don't want to get shot, so we won't point the camera at that one too much. Don't speak Russian. We'll not talk about Platska and Zavonia and Zavstra and Miesta, all this kind of vocabulary. It's about riding trains in Russia, or works for Ukraine as well, actually. Good. Embassy of Republic of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan. We love you, Azerbaijan. Embassy of Spain. Look at that one. Beautiful. Yes. Hot tip, hot off the press. Oh, wait a minute. There's another one over there. What's that? I can't read that, but okay. Hot tip. Azerbaijan. If you like Eurasian, the Eurasian look, go to Azerbaijan. You will find they have the exemplary kind of Eurasian woman there, like really the most beautiful I've ever seen anywhere. Kind of progressive Muslim style, whatever that is, but it means like they say hello and they dress in a fairly Western style, but not in a kind of not in a kind of uncultured way, let's put it like that, like you find in some parts of the West. We won't name any countries like the UK or something like that, because we're not trying to do like that, you know what I mean? But all right, so let's keep heading down here a bit further. All right, guys, so thanks a lot for coming along on this. I think it was a really cool walk from the Temple of Literature back over there, through the nice French colonial neighborhood that is next to the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum area, and the one for the Pagoda area over that way, just over there where I showed you where the main entrance is to that area. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe and the like buttons, and yeah, if you want to hit the buy me a coffee link as well. Hey, come on, why not? Oi. To keep the show on the road, and we'll see you in the next one, and don't be late.